Hey everyone, I'm Ashes,
And I'm Will.
and
And
this
this
is
is
Ashes
Ashes
and
and
Will
Will
Do
Do
Disney.
Disney. Each week, one of us will tell the other the history, facts, and stories behind the rides and attractions of Disney that have made special memories for generations.
Keep in mind that Ashes and Will Do Disney is not affiliated with or employed by the Walt Disney Company, and our views and opinions do not reflect theirs.
Now it's time to sit back, relax, and put on your ears because it's time for Ashes and Will Do Disney. Back at it again. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Went and ran some errands today, and kiddos started school today, so that's been fun.
Fun. I have been crafting up a storm. I have made 10 shirts.
For our
So,
upcoming trip, which by the time this airs will have gone and come back.
yes, but I've always loved to craft, right? You've always known that.
Hmm.
But when we moved into our new house last summer, one of the things I said I wanted to get was a Cricut. So since I bought this Cricut, it has just kind of opened a whole new world of crafting fun for me.
We got cups, we got shirts.
Yes, you all sorts of things, shadow boxes. I mean, you got your the first project I made with my Cricut was for Will. It
Yep.
was a bath board because William loves to take baths.
I watch TV in the bath.
Yep, and it was a haunted mansion bath board.
Yep.
So it's uh when you use the Cricut, you're usually printing off like vinyl or cardboard or something, but the process of separating like the vinyl that you cut from like the vinyl you're going to use is called weeding, and it can be very tedious sometimes, and anyone who crafts knows this, but I find it like super relaxing also. Like I really just enjoy it. So yeah, I've like been binge crafting and have made 10 shirts, 5 glow in the dark Halloween shirts for us, and then 5 just other park
Disney
shirts.
park
Yep.
shirts.
So,
Lots of fun. I really like the shirts. I'm sure we'll post pictures once we start wearing them. We're saving them for the trip, so it'll be a little bit before we still really wear them.
yep. But yeah, we'll definitely have to post pictures because I am pretty fond of them.
And they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, while I was out today, while I was driving around running my errands, had to get my new glasses, I was listening to the D23 podcast
Yeah.
and thought it was really cool. The episode I was listening to on the way home was about Bob Gurr. You remember Bob Gurr?
Oh, the name sounds familiar.
So we talked about him in the monorail episode. He helped design the monorail.
Yeah.
And so when they did this interview, it was in 2020. And so he's 88 years old in this
Oh,
interview.
wow.
He's going to be 90 in October. I was looking it up. But oh my gosh, I've never met Bob Gurr, obviously. I'm
Is
not
he your
that
new
cool.
best friend though?
I'm absolutely in love with the man. Like, very grandfatherly feel, super sweet guy, really funny,
Aw.
really sharp still.
Aw,
So it
awesome.
was really cool to listen to him talk about that. He was talking about how he wished he had his name on Pirates because he loved
Aw.
the ride and wishes he had his name on it. And really talked about his relationship with Walt Disney, how cool that was, and the things he learned from him. And
Oh my gosh, that's so
it
cool.
was so cool to listen to it. And he's really featured in the Imagineering story on Disney Plus, which was put together by Leslie Iwerks, of Iwerks' granddaughter.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was talking about how that whole process was done and how cool she was and how she put everything together and just how her mind works when she's directing and doing these things.
Oh, that's so
It
cool.
was really neat. So if you get a chance to on the D23 podcast, look up the Bob Gurr episode. I thought it was neat just because we had talked about him in the monorail episode.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know you like that podcast. You talk about it
I
often.
do. I do talk about it often.
They have some good interviews on there.
Very good interviews, lots of good Disney news.
Awesome.
I got another quiz for you this week.
Okay, cool. I have another story for you this week.
Well, that's good. So we talked about the relationship status and how Disney said they could predict that.
Oh yeah, I'm single, so
Yeah, and
that's
I
good
was
to
in a
know.
complicated relationship apparently.
I haven't mingled though since we last spoke, just so you know.
That's good. That's good. And I don't know if you feel like things are still pretty complex between us.
I guess so.
But I found another quiz. Again, Oh My Disney. I love these Oh My Disney quizzes.
They're fun.
And this one is another bold prediction.
Ooh.
So this one says, build a dream Disney parks meal and we'll reveal a truth about you. So
Ooh.
basically, based on the food you pick, it's going to tell you your personality.
Okay.
Okay, so again, I took this quiz. We'll share my result after you do yours. I'll let you know answers I picked as we go along here.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Before you even eat a meal, what is the first snack you seek out when you get to a Disney park? Churro, popcorn, Mickey Mouse pretzel, or cotton candy?
Oh gosh. I mean, honestly, the first one I seek out would be like one of the Mickey bars, but since that
Right.
wasn't a choice, we'll go with churro.
Okay, I said the Mickey Mouse pretzel.
Oh, I know. You like your
I like
pretzels.
my pretzels. First things first, lunch. What is your appetizer? Cove Bar lobster nachos, fries from the Galactic Grill, hummus fries from the Epcot World Showcase, or beer battered onion rings from 50's Primetime Cafe.
Oh man, those are some good
There's some good
ones.
choices. You
Dang.
got to pick one.
I know. I'm trying to think. Gosh, I could go for any of them, so it'd probably just depend on the day. But I am fond of Epcot, so let's go with the hummus.
Hummus fries.
Yep.
I went with the onion rings.
That was up there as well.
So we're going to laugh at a choice on this one, the very first choice, just because we have talked about it. What is your main lunch course?
Not
First
the
choice,
turkey
it's
leg.
turkey leg is your first choice. We all know neither one of us picked that. Corn dog, clam chowder in a bread bowl, or corn on the cob?
I mean, who just eats corn on the cob for lunch?
Apparently people at Disney.
I mean, I do love corn on the cob, but I have eaten those giant corn dogs before, so I'm gonna go with corn dog.
I picked corn
It
dog.
was pretty good too, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
I remember a while back when Disney posted for National Corn Dog Day. That's literally all they said.
It's
Was
National Corn Dog
It was
Day.
National Corn Dog Day, so I was like, cool, and I started looking up recipes to make homemade corn dogs
Oh,
that
yes,
very
I
same
remember
day.
that.
Yep, that was all because Disney posted about it being
Yep,
National Corn Dog
we
Day.
made homemade corn dogs that night, and they were pretty tasty.
And I'm pretty sure that's also when I made the potatoes
Yeah, I
that
was
they
like, it
have
was
at Animal
another,
Kingdom.
yeah, another Disney recipe to go with it.
Yeah, I like looking up the Disney recipes. I used to cook for a living, so I'll look up all the Disney recipes. So I've done corn dogs. I've done the fries from Animal Kingdom Lodge. I've also done the grilled cheese recently.
Yep. Well, I personally appreciate when Disney posts these things and inspires you because then I get a really tasty dinner out of it.
And I
So,
have a lot of fun making a really tasty dinner.
works out
It works out
win-win.
well. All right, what do you have for dessert? The Master's Cupcake from Be Our Guest Restaurant, Toffee Cake from Liberty Tree Tavern, Warm Colossal Cinnamon Roll from Kusafiri Coffee Shop and Bakery, or no dessert?
Who picks no dessert? You're at Disney. My goodness, probably the same person who ate corn on the cob for
For
lunch.
lunch.
Um, so is cupcake, coffee cake, or
Toffee cake.
oh,
T.
tea, toffee cake? Ooh, let's go with the toffee cake.
Okay, I took the cupcake.
Okay.
What do you have to drink? Soda, water, lemonade, or juice?
Oh, wine wasn't a choice,
Not a
so
choice.
I'll just go with water.
I did water too because mainly I looked at it for the sense of one, we don't really drink a lot of carbonated drinks. That's just not our preference.
No, not often.
But I'm also like, I'm in the parks. I should probably just drink water and be hydrated. So I looked at it from a very logical dad standpoint of view.
Oh, not even from a logical point of view. There's really only three beverages I drink on the regular, and that's coffee, water, and wine. So,
All right. Great. That sounded delicious. Now, what do you have for a mid-afternoon ice cream snack?
oh, sweet. We're getting our ice cream
I'm going
in.
to tell you, though, I'm a little bit mad about the choices here.
Hmm.
Dole Whip, Bug Sundae from the Animal Kingdom.
Oh, I've never had that. I don't know what that is.
Me neither. Mickey Ice Cream Sandwich, or no
Oh.
ice cream.
Oh.
I thought Mickey Bar should have been a choice. That's what I would have
Yeah.
picked.
Well, and So really, my top choice is that chocolate chip cookie sandwich, which isn't
Mm-hmm.
even a Disney one, but you can still buy it at the Disney
Right.
parks. But I friggin' love that thing. It's
It's good.
so good. But it's not the same as a Mickey sandwich. The Mickey sandwich is more like an ice cream bar, and it's not the same.
Well, it's like an ice cream sandwich where it's got the like ice cream in between and the
Yeah,
chocolate sandwichy thing. It's just shaped like Mickey.
yeah. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and go with that bug sundae.
Okay, I took the Mickey ice cream sandwich.
I get it.
Now it's dinner time. Do you go for an appetizer? A pickle?
Oh,
Carthay Circle salad? Flame Tree barbecues French fries with pulled pork and cheese? Or no appetizer?
you know I love my salads.
I know. I said no appetizer just for the sole fact
Well,
those things. I need a
yeah.
pickle, but I'm not going to have a pickle. I'm not just going to be like one pickle before dinner, please. So
At this point, we've eaten a lot during the day too.
correct. So I went for no appetizer on that one. Okay, what's your main course? We have two more questions,
Okay.
or three actually. So 8, 9, and 10. Your main course: pizza from Red Rockets Pizza Port,
Okay.
burrito Sonora from Cochina Cucamonga, Royal Street Seafood Jambalaya from Blue Bayou, or cheddar cheese stick from Corn Dog Castle.
Oh. Pizza or burrito? Let's go with a burrito.
You're going burrito. I went with pizza. The cheddar cheese stick sounded good, but again, things where I'm just like, I'm not going to just eat a cheese stick for
You
dinner.
gonna eat your pickle and cheese stick?
Exactly. I'm not going to be like one pickle for an appetizer, then one cheese stick for dinner. So
I don't know. Maybe it's a really big cheese stick. I don't think we've ever
that's what I'm
had it.
concerned about. Is it's a really big cheese stick?
Yeah, that's valid too, though.
Okay, what's for dessert? The gray stuff from Red Rose Tavern.
The gray stuff, that's from Be Our Guest.
Says the
Okay.
gray stuff from Red Rose Tavern, Ashley.
Okay, keep going.
Bayonets from the French Quarter.
Okay.
Chocolate crepe from Epcot World Showcase, or no dessert.
Okay, these people and they're no desserts.
I know who's not getting dessert at Disney.
It's awful. I'm gonna go with the gray stuff though. I've never had it, but they say it's delicious.
Okay, I went with the chocolate crepe. Finally, what do you buy to take home and enjoy the next day, or let's be honest, on the car ride home?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even eat it on the car ride home after that
After
day.
all that food you just ate just at one day?
Right.
But fudge from Main Street,
Okay.
toffee from Main Street, not coffee, toffee with a T.
Got it, got it.
Goofy's Candy Company sour gummy worms,
Ooh.
or Main Street Popcorn Company popcorn.
You know, I'm also a little sad here because my favorite treat to take home is they have these chocolate covered
The
pretzels.
pretzels, right?
So those ones are my favorite. They're Mickey shaped chocolate covered pretzels.
Yeah, we always get a box of them at Main Street in one of the shops.
So really, they don't even have my top choice. So I'm
Right.
a little disappointed. I guess I'm just gonna go with some sour gummy worms.
Okay, I went with the fudge. Okay, your truth. You love rainy days more than sunny days. There's something about those gray and gloomy days that leaves you feeling starry-eyed. Winter accessories like gloves, scarves, and umbrellas are totally your style. They're not. If you could see the look on Ashley's face right now, they're not. Even though people tend to praise the summer, winter is low-key your favorite
Oh
season.
no, I hate winter so
Neither
much
one
with
of
a
us like
fiery
winter
passion.
at all. That's why we like going to Florida, because it's warm
Yeah,
all the time.
I hate winter. Like, I mean, fall's really probably my favorite season, but I love summer too. Like, don't get me wrong, I do love rainy days. That part's not wrong. But at the same time, like,
Well, what gets me to reading your description is they went from rainy days to like
winter.
you like winter, and it's like there's a big difference between rain and snow. It can rain during the summer. I remember when we took that trip to Disney World for the first time and we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, we sat on the back porch just watching the rain.
I do. I love watching it rain. And
I don't
what's
want to sit on
cool-
the back porch and watch a snowstorm though.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll kind of watch that too. I enjoy weather,
But from the window.
but yeah, from the window. And for like, maybe like 1 week out of the entire year. like, I don't know, we went to Florida in November and it rained. And the coolest thing though is when it rained down there, we were walking through the rain and it was just wet. It wasn't
Wasn't
cold.
miserable, wasn't cold. We were in shorts and t-shirts and we were perfectly
Yeah,
comfortable.
it like we weren't miserable whatsoever. We were just walking around in the rain, which to some people they're like, yeah, it's raining. But seeing as we're from Colorado, when you walk around in the rain, it could be 90 degrees out
Hmm.
here in the summer, but it doesn't matter. When it rains, that rain is cold.
It drops like to like the 50s when it rains in the
Yeah,
summertime.
like you don't just like casually walk through the rain in
No,
Colorado.
it's pretty miserable walking through the rain here. But yeah, in
So,
Florida, it was a real nice walk in the rain.
yeah. Well,
So my truth was a little bit more accurate than yours.
okay.
And your picture that went with your truth was Winnie the Pooh floating around with an umbrella in the rain.
Aw.
Mine is Belle sitting by a fountain reading.
Okay.
And my truth is people think you're an extrovert, but you really value your alone time.
Okay, I can definitely see that with you.
Yeah, so it says you enjoy socializing and are excellent at making friends, which naturally leads people to believe that you're an extroverted person, yet you consider yourself an introvert. You relish that me time that you need to recharge and would prefer a night in alone over a big party, even though, let's face it, you're excellent at parties.
Mhm.
I don't know about the being excellent at
I
parties,
think that thing puts a little more confidence in you than maybe I would.
but that is true. I'm fine socializing with people, and when we make plans, I'm totally fine doing the plans. But inevitably, doesn't even matter if I'm looking forward to it. I'll sit there and be like, "Oh, it's okay if the plans get canceled. I'd totally be down to just hang out and
Oh,
watch a movie."
I know. I'm well aware.
So
You are
there we
that
are.
guy.
Our food has revealed our truths.
Mm, maybe if they had better options.
Maybe if they had a little bit better options, there are definitely a few things missing there. But what do you got for me this week?
Okay, so first of all, instead of asking Sonia what episode I should do, I asked another friend at work, is my friend Jessica, what episode I should do. So specifically, I asked Jessica just because she's gone through a rough time lately. She's had a really rough summer, and she has been such an amazing support, though, of our podcast.
Very much.
Like, it just absolutely warms my heart. So, first, I just want to say I want to dedicate this episode to her daughter, Anna Dawn.
Okay.
So, this one is for Anna. So, what she picked, though, just happens to be the happiest cruise that ever sailed.
It's a small world after all.
Yep, we're doing It's a Small World.
All right. So you'd mentioned that ride when you were doing the storybook boats. You were like, "Oh, I'm doing a boring ride, and it's not. It's a small world." And I adamantly said that It's a Small World is not a boring ride.
Well, if you ask my boss at work, it is a boring ride because she very much so spent all 10 minutes and 30 seconds of it making fun of Sonia for liking the ride.
It's a fun ride. There's so much in it to look at.
I mean, I enjoy it, but I get it. It's maybe not everyone's cup of tea. So,
I mean, the song does play literally from beginning of the ride to the end of the ride, but I think it's cool
yeah,
because they play it in different languages, and
all 10 minutes and 30 seconds of the ride.
it's great.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
So, did you know that originally It's a Small World wasn't even designed to be a ride at Disney?
Sounds like it should have been more of like a showcase then.
So, originally it was actually designed to be an attraction at the World's Fair
Okay,
in 1964.
that makes sense actually.
So, the World's Fair, which I guess really isn't a thing anymore, but
Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways,
I only know of it because of Disney's work at the World's Fair.
right. So, Walt Disney had 3 other attractions that he was currently working on at this moment in time for the World's Fair,
Okay.
and that was the Magic Skyway, the Carousel Theater, and Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Hmm.
So while he was kind of negotiating some aspects of the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln project, he received word that the Pepsi-Cola company was looking to partner, specifically in conjunction with the United Nations International Children's Fund, so UNICEF,
Yep.
Pepsi had a huge amount of space at the World's Fair, but didn't have a whole lot of time or money. So Disneyland supervisor Joe Fowler told Pepsi that there just wasn't enough time to get a pavilion ready. And mind you, this was coming from someone who built Disneyland in 1 year.
In 1 year.
So if he's like, no, there's not enough time. However, Walt was like, I don't think so.
That's the Walt Disney way.
Yeah.
Don't say you can't do it. Find a way to do it.
Exactly. He thought otherwise. So what he had originally proposed was a boat ride where guests would travel on large boats and they would travel past a world of miniature, super cute dolls that would represent different cultures and nationalities. I'm sure this is also kind of, inspired by, like, last week we talked about the Storybook Land canals and his little miniature cities.
Right.
So now instead of miniature cities, we have miniature people.
Miniature people.
Like, you can tell he was very well traveled as well and cared about, like, the whole picture of the whole world kind of thing.
I know there's a book out there. I don't know how much story is behind it, but there's a whole thing out there. It's like Travels with Walt Disney, and it's a photographic journey of all the places he's been.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's been to South America, he's been to Europe. I mean, I'm sure he's been even more
all
than
over.
that. Yeah. At first, Walt wanted the dolls to sing their national anthems.
Okay.
Like, from each of their countries.
Each country, yeah.
Yeah. Richard Sherman of the Sherman Brothers described it as a cacophony.
I think that, not any disrespect to the national anthems, because I think that would be really cool to hear them.
Right.
But that does sound like it'd be a lot more than just the same song in different languages, because that's just a whole bunch of different tunes, different lyrics.
They all have different, different sounds to them, different rhythms, everything. When Walt tasked the veteran, Sherman songwriter duo, the Sherman Brothers, to create one single universal song, of course they were up for the challenge.
Sure.
And for those of you who don't know, the Sherman Brothers, they're the big famous ones who did a lot of the songwriting for Walt Disney. They worked on Mary Poppins,
right.
They did the Chim Chimery, they did the Supercalifragilistic, they did Winnie the Pooh.
Yep.
So a lot of Disney songs from back then we can attribute to them. So Harriet Burns, who also worked on the attraction, told the brothers rather nonchalantly that it's a small world after all, and that comment actually inspired both the song and ultimately the name for the attraction. The Sherman Brothers created a bright and cheery song that highlighted just how much we all have in common. And then after their insanely effective song was submitted, at that point the ride's name was changed. Because originally they had called it the Children of the World, in which guests would ride on boats called the, quote, Fantasy, S-E-A,
okay.
Fantasy, a little play on words.
Yep.
So instead, they just changed it to It's a Small World, and then with it, underneath being like the happiest cruise on Earth.
I like that name better anyways.
Yes. Now, most of the pavilions at the World's Fair, especially corporate pavilions, were free to anyone who paid the gate admission to the World's Fair. So the admission to the World's Fair itself was $2 for adults and $1 for children, and this was in 1964. But It's a Small World was an exception. It cost 95 cents for adults and 65 cents for children 12 and under, which in 1964 was a pretty hefty fee for a 12-minute ride.
Sure.
However, 10 million people paid and rode the ride.
I was going to say, people paid for it anyways.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, you figure an adult pays $2 to get in, and then it costs half that price just to ride one of the rides there.
One ride, yep.
But still, literally 10 million people rode this ride. While It's a Small World was one of the few attractions to charge admission, it was still a runaway success. Partially, the success was due to the fact that it had a really high hourly capacity, which meant there was never much of a line. In the 4 seasons that the World's Fair ran, so it's really over the course of 2 years, they had the 10 million guests there. And then The UNICEF gift shop was at the very end of the ride. So this was the first ever instance of having guests exit through the gift shop.
Which now that's the
Which
norm.
now, almost every ride you go on
Ends at the gift shop.
ends at a gift shop, except ironically, It's a Small World now does not exit through a gift shop.
Right.
So,
you just kind of walk on out and you're back outside.
Yeah, a little ironic. But yeah, so this was the first case of it. So in fact, 91% of everyone who went to the World's Fair enjoyed at least one Disney attraction.
Okay.
So kind of a big thing.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. So when they made It's a Small World, they didn't think it was going to last. Like, literally the Sherman brothers were like, they thought, well, when the World's Fair is over, that'll be the end of it. You know, we'll have this thing, it'll last 2 years, and they never dreamed that it would kind of grow these legs and run this huge
Take
distance.
Off.
Yeah. Since the World's Fair was only a temporary placement for the ride, they had to decide what to do with it after the fair ended. So when Walt Disney decided to continue the attraction at Anaheim's Disneyland, they clearly decided they should just kind of use the one they already made instead of just rebuilding it from scratch.
Makes sense.
The best part is, Walt didn't even have to pay for moving it. Since Pepsi Cola, out of desperation for the pavilion, agreed to multiple conditions for letting Disney host an attraction with them, Pepsi Cola came out of the deal owing lots of money to Disney.
Oh.
Yeah, but Walt said he'd cut down their debt if they moved the entire attraction to California for him, free of charge.
Okay.
So,
wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, basically. As a result of Walt's shrewd deal, It's a Small World reopened in Disneyland in May 1966, just about half a year after the World's Fair closed in October 1965. Due to reusing the original features, Disneyland's ride still includes set pieces that were used in the original ride back in 1964.
Mm-hmm.
And you know this because it literally still has the shipping labels on it. Like, maintenance workers who go through and make adjustments in the scenery from time to time, like, might take something off, move something, and they'll see the assembly directions or the old shipping labels. Like, it's just another reminder of the vast history this ride has.
That's cool, though.
I think it's pretty cool. I would kind of wish we could, like, peek and see one, but, you know.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that's a detail we're going to catch just
no,
right
of
through.
course not. While largely the same attraction that wowed World Fair guests, the Disneyland version was expanded and enhanced, which makes sense given that the new show building was a third larger. So basically the same, but a little bit bigger. The World's Fair sets were placed in the same order at Disneyland. I mean, they might have changed, like, this doll's on the left or the right or whatever, but basically everything was in the same order. They just added to it. So, for example, the European section was built at least a third larger, and then they added a North Pole section and an Islands of the Pacific.
I love that part, the Islands of the Pacific.
I do. That's one of my favorite parts. Of course, everything got taken down and moved, so everything had to really be retouched up since it moved across the country. So they had to do some recanvassing, repainting, re-glittering, and then adding, an extra third to the ride. So then in 1971, a version of It's a Small World opened in Walt Disney World, and then subsequent variations would open in Tokyo Disneyland in 1983, Disneyland Paris in 1992, and Hong Kong Disneyland in 2008. Each have their own little quirks, such as at Walt Disney World, you can get a personalized goodbye message when you're leaving the attraction, just because of your magic band. So if you wear your magic band, which Disneyland doesn't do magic bands, and I don't know how it works at any of the other parks internationally if they do magic bands or not, but the ride in Florida can pick up your magic band and it might say, like, goodbye, William, or whatever, and do like little personalized things like that.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, seeing as we've never had magic bands. We've never
Not
seen
other
it.
than our cruises. I don't think we've ever had a magic band.
No. So, but that's a fun thing. And then in the Tokyo Disneyland, their Asia room is much bigger, which, kind of makes sense.
Sure.
So, but fundamentally, they're all the same, they can all be traced back to that original attraction and all kind of keep that same, building blocks. It's a Small World actually reshaped the course of Disney rides. So, aside from its individual contribution to Disney's fun collection of rides, it also influenced Disney's approach to rides. When the ride first opened at the World's Fair, it managed to keep a steady flow of traffic going without backing up a line, which clearly drew Walt Disney's attention. There had been boat rides in the past, such as Jungle Cruise, but the fast and steady pace of Small World's boats made Disney Imagineers ponder applying this to other attractions as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
If it's doing well.
Exactly. Because who likes waiting in line?
And that's the thing about It's a Small World is even when you look at it and there's a huge line, it moves so quick.
I was like, I don't think I've ever really seen it more than 30 minutes for a wait. Yeah. And we've never, I don't think, ever spent that long in that line.
No, I think the max we've spent in a line is maybe 15 minutes for Small World.
Yeah, for sure. The ride most significantly affected by Small World's success was Pirates of the Caribbean.
Sure.
Which, at this point in time, was still under development when Small World first opened. So, originally, Pirates was supposed to just be a walkthrough attraction. You would just kind of walk through, pass by different pirate figures and townscapes.
Right, it was supposed to be like a wax museum initially.
Yeah, which, thank God they changed it, because after walking around the park all day, that just does not sound fun.
Doesn't sound as fun.
But then, after realizing the success and the potential for Small World's boats, Imagineers reworked the entire ride into a boat adventure, with riders passing through the various pirate scenes instead. And since then, the other rides, such as Frozen Ever After, Grand Fiesta Tour, and Navi River Journey, have also used boat systems. What a little influential ride.
An influencing ride for sure.
So just a shout out to some of the designers, because these are those big names from back in the day. So Mary Blair was the one responsible for the attraction's whimsical designs and color styling. Blair had been the art director on several Disney animated features, including Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, and Peter Pan. And I mean, as soon as you look her up and just look at some of those images, it just screams Disney. You know it right there.
So really cute thing too. So I was talking about Bob Gurr in that interview. They were asking him to describe some of these people that he worked with in the past.
Yeah.
And really nice thing he said. They asked him about Mary Blair, and he said she was the best artist that Walt Disney had ever hired.
Oh, that is sweet.
It was very sweet.
Yeah, she had her hands in a lot of projects. She was very talented. Mark Davis also worked on the project. He was famous for both his animation of classic Disney characters and for engaging animatronics at attractions like Jungle Cruise and Pirates of the Caribbean, and he designed some of the scenes throughout Small World. His wife, Alice Davis, also helped by making costumes for the dolls. Sculptor Blaine Gibson, who made works ranging from Haunted Mansion bus to Walt statue with Mickey, designed and sculpted out the dolls. And when the ride came to Disneyland, Imagineer Raleigh Crump was responsible for designing many Disney attractions, as well as the World's Fair features. Also created the beautiful White Palace facade on the outside, using Mary Blair's work as inspiration. Now, some information about the dolls. Each doll is the same. They were created all with the exact same shape and appearance.
Sure.
All that's different is just the skin tone, the eye, the hair color, the clothes. Otherwise, underneath, they're just the exact same doll.
They're cookie cutter of each other.
Yeah, which is done very intentionally, because that's the whole point of this, is that we're all the same.
good little message, even when you're
It
just talking
is.
about efficiency.
It is. Well, it's often referenced that It's a Small World is referred to as a prayer for peace.
Sure.
So,
Makes sense. That's a very big theme. I don't even think that's a subtle theme.
Yeah, for sure. When Alice Davis was working on the costumes for the dolls, she asked Walt Disney how much she could spend. And of course, Walt Disney, in his own way, just looked at her and was like, "We don't think like that here. I want you to do whatever it takes to make these dolls look like every woman in the world would want to have. Like what they would want to look like."
So money's no object, just do it.
Basically. So he's like, "No, you give them everything they want, those little dolls." So something I didn't know. You go through It's a Small World and you hear the song sung in so many different languages. Well, it feels like it's sung in a whole lot of different languages. It's actually only sung in 5 different languages.
Really?
Yeah, which kind of shocked me because I thought it was way more than that.
It seems like every section you go to, it's in that country's language.
Yeah, nope. But also, I only speak English, so I don't know.
Maybe I don't recognize enough other languages.
Yeah, exactly. So the languages are English, Japanese, Swedish, Italian, and Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah. You already know the attraction is filled with animatronic, doll-like versions of children from all over the entire globe in traditional clothing, activities, etc. We may not realize that there's actually almost 300 dolls in each of the Small World attractions.
See, I would have said more.
Really?
I would have thought more.
Oh, yeah, no. I feel like 300 dolls is...
I mean, that's a lot too, but just to me, it seems like such a big, immersive ride that I would have guessed more.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's about 300. So,
all right, then.
When you start adding in all the little toys and decorations and activities that they're doing...
That's probably what makes it look bigger.
That adds up to about 500 per attraction. So, give or take, each attraction's just a little different. And there's roughly 29 different countries from around the world represented in the attraction. In 2008, It's a Small World received a major overhaul, adding 37 Disney and Pixar characters into various set pieces in the attraction, replacing the New Guinea room with one themed to the American West. So now we have Mulan, Woody, Jessie, Aladdin, Cinderella, Lilo, Stitch, Alice, Peter Pan, Pinocchio, Simba, Ariel, Marlin, Dory, the Three Caballeros, and, a few others just mingled in with a bunch of the other children.
Yep.
So, of course, this caused controversy because some people...
They changed the ride.
You change something, so people are always going to be unhappy about it. Personally, I'm a fan of the change, and I think it makes it more relatable for the kids.
100%.
Like, I know when we've taken our kids, like, just the excitement they have at, like, recognizing a character.
The
like,
recognition
that's
of it
Lilo.
is what makes it big, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I think it helps give them that perspective that all these movies that they're watching are from all over the world.
Right. Exactly. And my big thing, too, when people complain about changes to rides and going with the recognition with kids... They have to understand that when they saw the ride, that was also probably a change to the ride.
Right.
And they're changing these rides to keep them relevant. They keep elements to it to keep people like you and me happy who like what we consider our classics. But they also have to look forward to there's new generations that they have to keep going forward with and keeping the company relevant. You can't do that just staying in one spot. That doesn't stick with the Disney mantra of keep moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. We've watched just little Disney things on TV, like when they did one of the award shows, and it was Disney.
Oh, it was Mickey's 90th birthday.
Yeah,
that we watched.
Except for it was Mickey definitely danced in clothes that we wouldn't wear, or listening to songs we wouldn't listen to, but they were very specific about it. They're like, if we don't attract younger audiences, like, we're just gonna die out.
Right.
So they have to appeal to those younger audiences to kind of keep that fan base growing, which totally
and I
makes
remember
sense.
I heard people complaining when that Mickey's 90th anniversary came out, and he was dancing around with a lot of people. I had no clue who they were.
Oh, yeah.
But people were literally complaining online, like, oh, it would have been so much better if he did something with Annette Funicello. And I know who Annette Funicello is because I watched old episodes of the Mickey Mouse Club. I
Right.
guarantee my kids don't know who Annette Funicello is.
Oh, yeah, no.
So, I mean, you look at like these old names that like the older generation wants. It's like, yeah, that's cool for you, but it loses interest with the current day.
Yeah. So, I mean, either way, we have our nostalgia, so
But to
we're
me,
not
it's like
going
keeping
anywhere.
Mickey Mouse in it as it is and celebrating his 90th birthday. That's enough nostalgia for me to be like, this is cool, even though it's got some things and people in there that I have no clue what that is.
Right, exactly. But I still really want our kids to think Disney's cool and to think Mickey's
Yeah.
cool when they're like in their teenage years.
Right. So go ahead and make the changes
Yeah.
and keep my kids interested.
I know, because if they ever stop liking Disney, my heart's just going to be sad.
Might be cheaper when we go to the parks, though, and go on vacation because we can leave their non-Disney loving selves behind.
I mean, I guess that's true. But I'll still be a little sad. Maybe I'll forget it, though, when I'm at Disney.
Yeah, you know.
So I don't know if you've seen, there's this sad little clown that was in It's a Small World.
Okay.
However, it got a refurbishment somewhere around 2004, 2005. You've only seen the updated version of it, and it's this cute little clown in a hot air balloon,
Yes.
and he's smiling, and he has a balloon in his hand.
Yep.
Well, before, I guess he was frowning, and he carried a sign that said help.
From the balloon?
Yes.
I mean, I guess that's kind of funny, though.
I mean, it's kind of funny, but it so doesn't.
The only reason I think it's funny is because I'm looking at it as like, the clown is like, oh my gosh, get me out of this song, this 10.5-minute song.
I mean, I think it's funny just from the like dolls are creepy aspect of it too, maybe. But yeah, I was just like, this.
The happy clown holding a balloon is a little bit more of
sense.
the Disney environment.
And the the clown holding the red balloon is actually a tribute to Mary Blair too.
Oh.
So I wanted to just go over the lyrics real quick to the song because there's the 2 verses, but there's actually an unreleased 3rd verse.
Oh.
I'm not going to sing it. I'm going to read it. No.
Okay.
So it's a world of laughter, a world of tears, a world of hope, and a world of fears. There's so much that we share. There's so that it's time we're aware. It's a small world after all. Repeat, repeat, repeat.
Yep.
And then there is just one moon and one golden sun, and a smile means friendship to everyone. Though the mountains divide and the oceans are wide, it's a small world after all. Repeat a bunch of times.
Yep.
Then the 3rd unreleased version is, which I thought I've heard in here though, but it said it was unreleased, so I don't know if it's an update or whatever, but
okay.
Or maybe we've heard it on a show, I'm not sure. It's a world of wonder, a world of worth, and in years to come, we'll know peace on earth. We will open our eyes and we'll all realize it's a small world after all.
I don't recall ever hearing that verse.
Okay, well then I don't know where I've heard it, but I thought it was really nice.
That is a nice verse, yes.
Now, a lot of Disney, during the holidays, like for example, in Anaheim, Disneyland does the Haunted Mansion, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep, the Haunted Holiday.
Yeah, well, during the holidays, It's a Small World also gets a holiday update. And instead of just singing the It's a Small World song, they also incorporate some holiday songs in there. So it kind of goes back and forth.
Okay.
Which I've
never heard the holiday songs in there. And we went around Christmas time where they had it all done up. The big old face on the front had a Santa hat on. So
yeah, but I don't think we went on the ride. Did we?
We did, but I don't recall hearing any holiday songs.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. And I don't know if maybe it's only at one of the locations that they change it or not.
It might be, being that Haunted Mansion only does it in California.
Yeah, exactly. During the holidays, they incorporate jingle bells and deck the halls, and with the normal It's a Small World song. So it kind of goes back and forth. But what I also found was fun is apparently they include an island version of Jingle Bells.
Oh, that's cool.
Did you know there was an island version of Jingle Bells?
I mean, I didn't know it, but it also doesn't shock me to hear it.
Okay, well, I'm going to read it to you because I thought it was the coolest thing, and I really think we need to teach our kids to sing it.
Okay.
Splashing through the foam in a seahorse we sashay. Over the reefs we go, laughing all the way. Ha ha ha. Shells on bubbles gleam, making treasures bright. Oh, what fun it is to sing a mermaid song tonight.
We are absolutely going to print the lyrics for this.
Oh, wait, it's not done yet.
Okay.
And then it goes, oh, jingle shells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to glide beneath the salty spray. Jingle shells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to glide beneath the salty spray.
We are absolutely printing those lyrics off this year, and we're just going to play the music and teach the kids this.
I know. I was
100%.
like, what is this? It's so cool. So, fun fact, Disney doesn't actually own the rights, though, to the song.
Really?
Yeah. Since it was a World's Fair event, attraction, and it paid tribute to the UNICEF's international relief efforts, UNICEF asked Disney not to copyright it, so that way the song could continue to be like a world song, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. And that perhaps might just be why it's the most played song ever,
And
basically.
everywhere, yeah. Well, and that makes sense too, because one of our son's toys, it's a musical toy, plays It's a Small World, but it's not a Disney toy.
Yep. So that makes sense.
That makes more sense now.
Yep. So It's a Small World has also made some movie appearances. Michael Pena's character in Ant-Man hums the ride song during the movie's climactic heist. So they're like, get it, Ant-Man?
Yep, makes sense.
The song being considered annoying by some people is referenced in Lion King. Yep. And it shows up in the Kim Possible movie. It shows up in Lion King 1.5. It shows up in The Muppet Show. It keeps going. It's also in Kingdom Hearts, the video game. It's in Epic Mickey. It's in Connect's Disneyland Adventures, Disney Universe. This song is all over. It was partially sung in a Golden Girls episode. So it's also referenced in a Dinosaurs episode when Earl Sinclair won't sell his Graftolites to his boss, explaining that his wife's happiness means the world to him. And then his boss offers him $50 for them, and Earl says, it's a small world after all.
Yep. I remember that episode. We watched it not that long ago, actually.
That's funny. Apparently, at some point, they plan to make a film feature for it. They announced it back in 2014 that it was to be directed by John Turteltaub and written by Jared Stern. However, that was, 2014, 7 years ago, and we've got nothing yet.
I mean, that's kind of the way it works, too. They also said we were going to get a reboot of the Haunted Mansion years and years ago, and then it got shelved for a while. Now we're back to talking about rebooting the Haunted Mansion.
So we'll see if it happens.
So there's still hope.
They do have an animated show, though, for It's a Small World. It's mostly just on, YouTube and other, little apps like that. It's just kind of like a little kids show. But drawing roots on the ride, it's just an online show that features 6 children from different countries around the world, and each episode involves them flying around in the balloon and just learning about different lands.
Oh.
And it's sponsored by Rosetta Stone. So.
Okay.
Now, one of my episodes wouldn't be complete without some incidences.
Gotta have some incidences.
In Magic Kingdom, on August 18th, 1994, a 6-year-old girl from Miami, Florida, fell out of one of the ride's boats while it was in the loading area. It was believed that she was struck by an incoming boat. The girl suffered a broken hip and a broken arm and a collapsed lung.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Paramedics took her to the hospital and she was able to recover fully from her injuries. The ride was closed for inspection and reopened the following day.
Okay.
On December 25th, 2014, this is still in Magic Kingdom, so Christmas Day, A 22-year-old woman lost consciousness after riding the attraction. She later died. The young woman had a pre-existing condition.
I was going to say, I don't think that was the ride that did that. That just happened to be where she was when it hit her.
I don't know. Well, some people are scared of dolls. Like,
I guess.
She got scared to death, maybe. And then in Disneyland Paris, so I'd also like to point out this is clearly more exciting than the Jungle Cruises incidences.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That lady slipped and broke her leg.
So in Disneyland Paris on October 6, 2010, a 53-year-old cleaner subcontracted to Disney was trapped underneath a boat when the ride inadvertently switched on while it was being cleaned. The man was taken to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead.
So he just got like stuck under the boat and it took him away?
Yeah, which I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I totally feel bad for this guy, but trying to envision this in my head kind of makes me giggle, so please don't think I'm a horrible person. But those boat rides move so slow.
Like, why didn't he just like roll out?
Yeah, so I just kind of...
The water's not deep.
Like, you know in, like, Roger Rabbit, when he's, like, trying not to get run over by the steamroller, and you see it, like, coming, and then he's like, no!
That's not Roger Rabbit. That's totally
Cool.
Austin Powers.
Oh, is it Austin
yes,
Powers?
I do
Oh,
understand
my
your
gosh.
reference.
Okay, thank you. So, either way...
the judge actually does get run over by the steamroller in Roger
That's
Rabbit.
right.
So.
Either way, there was a steamroller. But yeah, Austin Powers, like, you know, when the steamroller's, like, way far away, and he's all scared of it.
Yeah.
They move slow.
They're slow.
I don't know what happened.
And again, not to like downplay it, it's awful, but like you can actually see the tracks that the boat are on. Like
it probably clearly snuck up behind him,
caught him off guard.
He fell. It's in water. But either way, that's just what popped up in my head.
Yeah.
So, but not only do I have incidences for you, I also have a scary story.
Scary story.
Because, I mean, it's literally 300 dolls in one enclosed space.
I mean, yeah.
So, of course, the internet had to take it and run with it.
Just run with it.
And give us a scary story.
Yeah.
So, warning right now, if you don't like creepy stories about dolls, you can just stop right here.
Bring it on to me, though. I'm ready.
Yes. So, I found this story on Reddit. And here we go. It's entitled, I Work Security at Disney World. Well, I mean, I did. Okay. I work in security at Disney World, the happiest place on earth. Typically, I wouldn't say where I work, as obviously there are some pretty strict rules about things employees can put online, but I just don't think I can tell this properly without that context. And honestly, I think this may be it for me anyways with this job. I just can't see myself working here any longer now. I've been with the company for 23 years. The first 20 years I worked in the park, nabbing shoplifters, rounding up people who were drinking too much for the heat. Occasionally there'd be a fight to break up, but people usually kept it pretty mild. The heat and walking was getting too much for me the last few years, so I asked to be transferred somewhere with the AC, and the company moved me to one of their resorts. While the working conditions were 110% better as far as the climate and comfort go, the guest issues were trickier, mainly domestics. I guess the expense and the stress of vacation got to a lot of people, and I'd be called by neighboring rooms because of some mom and dad yelling at each other. I try to suggest they take a nap or go do separate activities for a bit, and that would usually calm them down. But none of that is what I'm here for. I've got to get this out while I have time. 3 days ago, I got a call from management. Apparently, a couple of days before that, housekeeping had went into a room that should have been turned over that day. So, turning over is when one guest leaves by 11 a.m. and the next guest checks in around 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the guest items were still in the room. Housekeeping made a note of it and moved on. But during the next 2 days when they entered the room, everything was still there and untouched. I went to check it out, and sure enough, there was an empty room full of luggage, clothes, snacks, some toys, everything a family would need for a vacation. The manager had already looked up the previous reservation, and it was a family. Dad, Mom, 2 little kids. I tried to call the phone numbers that they had given, but all I got was voicemail. We were a bit stumped, so I made the call that the housekeeper could clean the room and take the family's personal items to be held until we got in contact with someone. I went digging into the reservation more. The family had arrived 5 days before housekeeping discovered all their stuff. I found that the family had paid a parking fee and their vehicle description was listed. A quick walk of the parking lots and I had located their vehicle easily. So that ruled out a car accident or them deciding to just leave all their stuff behind. Next, I saw that they had bought a dining plan. This is when a guest prepays for all of their food. They were given a certain number of credits to use for meals. The family had only used 3 credits, and the last one was 2 days after they checked in. It appeared that the day they arrived, they got here late and probably just stayed on the resort. The next day, they used 2 credits at Epcot. The second park day, they used just 1 credit at Magic Kingdom, and it was at breakfast time. Now, at Disney, we have something called magic bands. Magic bands are worn by guests and act as a room key, park ticket, credit card, dining reservation, payment, fast pass, and more. It took some work, but I was finally able to look up the family's fast pass history. The day they went into the Magic Kingdom, they had breakfast at a restaurant in the park, rode a couple of rides, and then rode their last ride, It's a Small World, around 11 a.m. Then nothing. Finally, it was time to bring someone else in on this. I called an old coworker at Magic Kingdom and asked him to pull security footage for It's a Small World at the time they wrote it. And I made my way over there. When I got there, my friend was very confused, almost distraught looking. He showed me what he found. There's usually a camera in the direction of where the rides load and unload. The footage showed them scanning their bands to use a fast pass for the ride and boarding the ride. The footage from the exit of the ride just showed the other people in their car exiting, and they weren't there. Of course, we thought the worst. Maybe one of the kids had fallen out, and Mom and Dad and the other kid had gotten off in the middle of the ride to help, and they all got injured or killed or stuck in the machinery somewhere. So we shut down the ride. Middle of the day, turned off that earworm music and turned on the lights. Me and my buddy walked that ride 3 times before we called in help. Eventually, there was close to 10 cast members searching, and we didn't find anything except for 3 cell phones and a hat. I was stumped. I kept digging the past couple of days, and I'm not sure who to tell what I found next. I've called the police, and I suppose they're on their way, but the company has a way of covering things up like this, and I decided I can't live with myself if I don't put out some type of warning.
Is this the same secret security guy posting another story?
It is not the same guy. I kept digging into their reservation over the last couple of days, and today I noticed that they purchased a memory maker. There are photographs all over the park and cameras in a lot of the rides with Memory Maker. The photos are all free. They automatically get added to a guest Disney account when the system knows their picture was taken, and the system already knows. Everyone's whereabouts are always known with the magic bands. Well, I open up their Memory Maker photo album, and I swear, there's 732 pictures. The first 30 or so are pretty normal. Epcot, a few rides in front of the castle, but the rest are all in It's a Small World. The ride only takes 1 picture per go-around, so it appears as though this family has ridden the ride over 700 times. The first picture was pretty normal. Everyone looked happy. It was busy. It was a busy day, a full car of guests. The next one is rough to look at. The car is empty except for this little family, and they look so darn confused. The next 10 to 15, I can see Dad getting angry, yelling. Mom is holding on to the two little kids as if her life depends on it, and you can see the kids getting increasingly upset, crying, and it goes on and on and on. After 50 or so, it looks like they're trying to get out. In one, the dad is missing. In another, they're all gone. Maybe like they've bailed early in the middle of the ride and tried to walk out. But in the very next one, they're all right back in that boat. After around 450 or so, I only see the mom and kids. It's just when I look really closely I can see the dad, maybe just his body now, slumped down in one of the other seats. Since about 675, there's just mom and one kid, another body in another seat. The mom and kids aren't moving anymore. I think the two of them are still alive, just darn near catatonic, looking pale and straight ahead. And I swear on my life, the dolls are moving or something. In some of these pictures, I can tell they aren't where they should be. I even saw one with a doll in the car with this family. I can't look at it anymore, I'm gonna lose my lunch. I closed the album. Its file size has increased since I closed it. God, are there new pictures being added? I see on security cameras that the local police department just arrived, so they'll take over soon. I wish I knew what was going on, but I also wish this thing had never landed in my lap. I don't think I'll be able to update this. After I talk to the police, I think I'm going to walk out of here and never come back. I just wanted to get this out there before Disney feeds the media some cover story as to why this whole family vanished. But they didn't vanish. I know they are here. So,
endlessly riding a small world with haunted dolls.
So I gotta say, I also got a couple of the comments from this thread, which one of the comments I didn't copy and put in here, but cracked me up. They're like, okay, first of all, you know this is just a complete load of crap, because who uses a fast pass for It's a Small World?
For It's a Small World.
Either way, the story definitely caught my interest. But a couple of the comments have, like, you know, other little stories in them. So one of them says, I'm a hard skeptic when it comes to stuff like that, but it's this ride that made me reconsider. I worked there back in 2012, right before I left to start my new job. I decided to use my free entry one more time. I hit all the usual rides before I left the park, and for the last time as a cast member, I wanted to get all nostalgic and ride Small World. It was all well and good until the end of the European section. There was like a sweet little Swiss Alps girl that I noticed that wasn't in the Switzerland section. I mean, she was close, but I'd ridden that thing like 100 times now, and I knew it like the back of my hand. But I was like, whatever, I'm definitely not in the inner circle, so they don't need my approval to change the location of puppets. And then I kid you not, I saw her again in each of the next 4 areas. Only she wasn't dancing and singing along with the other characters, just sort of lurking in the background, but still very visible. It was one of those things where I didn't really believe what I was seeing, but I was absolutely certain of what I saw. So it was late at night. I was on the ride by myself since I was friends with people that ran the ride, and I was thoroughly freaked out. I was doing anything to distract myself and then make it to the little finale of the ride. I'll never forget. I saw that little doll hugging the sign that said Shalom. First rational thought, they had a typo, not me, was that this was a prank, that somehow my friends set this up, but they were adamant that they didn't.
And their friends got on the ride and just started moving the doll around?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it couldn't be possible. They don't have duplicate puppets. If one breaks, they either fix it after the park closes or get a new one. Apparently, Swiss Alps girl has been decommissioned because no matter how many times they fix her, she still won't seem to dance or sing with the rest of the puppets. And then there's one more. I rode Small World for the last time in the 90s. I will never step foot on that ride again. Even when I've taken my kids to Disney, I absolutely refuse to go on that ride. I still sometimes have nightmares about what I saw there. And I was not the only one. I went on a school trip at the end of the year. It was the night we went on it. We had already been on every other ride at least 2 times, and someone in our group had been begging to ride it since earlier the day. So we finally agreed. It was close to closing time and our last ride for the night. So I think we were the only people riding, or if there was others, there were only a couple of them. We had about 6 people in our group. I will never be able to forget this as long as I live. We were about halfway through. I don't remember which country we were in or really anything about my surroundings. I was so freaked out I couldn't focus on anything else. My friend started tugging violently on my arm, so I look over at her. She had tears in her eyes, her mouth is wide open, and she's trying to speak but can't get anything out. And she is just forcefully pointing down at the water under us. Just the expression on her face and the way she was acting was enough to terrify me, and I really didn't want to look down, but I had to know what had her scared so badly. I forced my gaze away from her and slowly leaned over the side. There was only a few inches between the boat and the wall, but it was enough. The water under us was full of countless disembodied faces, all of them frozen in pain, full of terror, their mouths open in silent screams. I started screaming at the top of my lungs, scaring everyone. They started turning around or reaching forward to try to calm me down, but I just kept saying something like, "They are under us. OMG, they are under us. There's so many of them in the water. They're trapped in the water." So of course, everyone immediately starts leaning over and trying to look into the water, but nothing is there. Just the murky water and the rails that the boat rides on. My friend and I were inconsolable. As soon as we started to get off the ride, the person that was at the controls came running up to us to ask if we were okay. My friend and I tried to tell them what we saw through our tears, and as soon as I said something about the faces in the water, her expression froze and all the color drained from her face. The way she responded said it all. She managed to quickly collect herself and try to reassure us, telling us it was just reflections from the dolls' faces, but we knew better. Our friends guided us back to the park entrance where we waited for everyone else. They wanted us to tell the chaperones, but we refused. We knew no one would believe us, so we just left and didn't speak of it again. I have stayed friends throughout the years with that other girl that saw what I saw, and she has never returned to Disney and probably never will, and I don't blame her at all. We've tried to talk about what we saw a couple times, but within a few minutes we both start to get upset. All I can think about is what caused all of those poor souls to be trapped like that. Where did they come from? Why are they stuck there? And why are they all screaming and terrified in what is supposed to be the happiest place on earth?
Okay, so with these stories, you've mentioned it before, like, I'm not on Reddit a whole lot. Every once in a while I come across something, but I do know that there are streams on Reddit where people make scary stories.
So those are usually on the creepypasta.
Yeah,
thread.
And like they're intentionally fictionalized, and you all know they're fictionalized, but you're supposed to respond to it as if it's real.
Yeah, so that's actually not the thread that I got this from, where that happens. But regardless, doesn't mean that everyone adheres to that.
Right.
I did find some creepypastas that I think would be fun to do maybe for October, like Halloween time.
Yeah, for sure.
So
we'll give a focus on there.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think they're fun to include because
they're absolutely fun. They're creepy little stories.
Yeah.
I don't believe any of them actually happened.
No.
But they're fun. They're creepy.
I think they're fun. I think it's awesome that Disney has created such a fandom with Disney that there's like fanfic, basically.
Right.
Like that people like Disney enough to take the time to make stories like this.
Yeah, to make like a horror section of Disney.
Yeah, because you and I are exactly those people who like the creepy Disney stuff.
Yep, 100%.
So, yeah.
For those that don't know, for our anniversary, we got ghosts holding Mickey balloons tattooed on us.
Yeah.
So,
we should post the picture of those for this episode too.
Yep, we absolutely can.
So we have to remember, make note. If you guys don't like the creepy stories, let us know. But I've definitely found a good few of them, and I love to include them because I think they're fun.
I like hearing them.
So the couple people that I've gotten feedback from seem to enjoy them so far. They like hearing the little Disney incidences, those kind of things, because it is the happiest place on earth and it is full of magic, but sometimes it's fun to, spice it up a little bit, I think.
Make it a little dark.
Yeah. So, cool. Well, that's all I've got for you.
That was a fun episode. That was good. I really enjoyed that conversation. Brought up some definitely good memories here. So my favorite memory of It's a Small World is actually how we got on the ride one time.
With your grandpa?
With my grandpa. So it was my first trip to Disney World. We went with my family a year after we got married, and my grandpa went. At the time, he was in his late 80s. So we got him one of those motorized scooters just so he didn't have to walk the whole park. I mean, he's had hip surgery, things of that nature. So we wanted to make sure he was good. Though him being on the scooter may have been more detrimental than him if he had just walked with a cane.
So, I know.
But we did go in line for It's a Small World, and they saw my grandpa with the scooter, so they literally just brought us straight down to the front of the ride at the handicap ramp and just let us on right there. Skipped the line, no wait whatsoever. So that was a nice little perk to him having that electric scooter.
Yep. I mean, something had to make up for him trying to run everyone over, so...
Sometimes he didn't just try to run people over. He straight up ran people over.
Oh, I know.
So,
especially your sister, though.
My sister took the brunt end of that.
I was like, I think she got run over the most on that trip.
Absolutely. But it's a very fun ride. Like I said, it's not a boring ride to me. I enjoy the song. It's relaxing. I like looking at all the different aspects of the different parts of the world. My favorite is when we do spot Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, I love it. It is truly, like, I do enjoy the ride. I think it's fun. And you see dolls a lot in like creepy, scary movies, but I don't think they're scary.
They're not creepy dolls. I mean, because they do just look like little kids. They're not designed to specifically be these like little China doll type things with the glass face and the creepy eyes that follow you everywhere. They're little dolls that dance.
Well, and the artistic nature of that ride is just awesome. Like,
Agreed.
You can go through that ride multiple times and catch new things every time. It's so much fun.
Agreed. It's a really fun ride, and I'm really excited to go on it again here very soon.
Yay. Well, we would have already now.
By the time, again, yeah, once this airs, we'll have already gone and been on the ride and be talking about it later.
Yep.
So. That's it for this week's episode of Ashes and Will Do Disney.
Don't forget, we need your mouse tails. If you have a funny, weird, exciting, or just a favorite Disney memory, send it to ashesandwilldodisney@gmail.com so we can read them on the show.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Ashes and Will Do Disney. This is a public group to follow. We're also on YouTube at Ashes and Will Do Disney.
Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you so much for listening, and have a magical day.